Okay, you got to hold on tight because this book, the Metu Neter, is probably going to be as hard to present as it is hard to read. So these videos may come across as a series of thoughts or points. We're going to make the best out of it because as hard as it is to read, it's even harder to articulate in a linear fashion. You can't read it in a linear fashion because it's constantly sending you to other resources. It's referencing words you don't know the meaning of, so you have to look the words up. It's referencing schools, plural, of thought that you're going to have to look up. Other deity, other religious rituals that you're going to have to look up. So it's not that I'm not going in a linear fashion. There's a lot of information in this as discussed in the first video. So I'm going to do the best I can. Now we stopped on the left and right brain. Here is the issue of the left and right brain being pulled together as we go into chapter 2. The greatest problem arises from the fact that the greatest validators of our actions, i.e., religion, science, which are the intrinsic products of right-sided cultures, are now used by predominantly left-sided cultures in the characteristic fashion of the left side hemisphere. The left side is totally incapable of truly religious and scientific thinking. The left side divides, the right side unifies. Putting something together is right-sided. Taking apart is left-sided. So basically, the European culture that has dominated many black societies and civilizations has taken information completely set up by another form of thinking, literally and physically, or physiologically, and tried to process it not only through the left brain of thinking, but through the value system of left brain people, which means it's not going to be right because it's not processed right. Now, here's the deal, and this was an example that was brought up. Europeans have studied Kemetic communication and writing and letters, but they do not understand the language. Because Kemetic people and the true black people, the true black civilizations, the original civilizations, being Sumer and the other Nara and all of those original civilizations that came before ancient Kemet, function with a completely different value system than the European. So the European is not going to negotiate what's important to it, male or female. And because of that, they have no understanding of what free would mean. Perfect example. Andrew Jackson is known as the father of democracy in the United States because he was actually given credit for being the engineer of including the poor white man into the democratic experience. So he's known as the father of American democracy. Not to women, not to Africans who were here before, the Aborigine, not to the slaves that were brought here subsequent to Christopher Columbus, not to Native Americans, but in their reality, there was democracy. in, if you go to the 42 laws of Ma'at, when they say, I am trustworthy, that meant something. Not trustworthy to some people. When it says, I am good to my neighbor, or I hold animals as sacred, their lives as sacred, that didn't mean some animals. That meant all of them. It's a completely different mindset. To the Western people, it means to who is important, this is provided. Hence, it's provided for everyone, because anyone not important doesn't matter. A lot of people don't want to state it that bluntly, but that's the truth. Our Constitution, perfect example. We have a 3/5 rule that was written because of slavery. We have a electoral college. A lot of people don't know the reason that we have electoral college is because of slavery. Now, it's maintained. We can keep asking that question with mass incarceration. It probably still is maintained because of slavery. Not to go into that, there are plenty of videos on how slavery still exists in the United States. I think it's 50 videos on this channel. 48 of them have to mention that. That being said, the Metu Neter then goes into a brief description of religion. Now we're moving away. We've established how the brains think, and we established that Western people or Europeans, there's a reason why no white culture has ever originated or founded or were naturally a part of a religion, because the left brain doesn't process religion. Hence, they always assimilated into someone else's religion, but they could not function in it because they're not right brain people. So they had to alter it as to where it fit their value system. That is just their nature. It's not good, bad, or indifferent. It's just the truth. What is the definition of religion? Let's try that. Tying people back to something with which they had originally been one and belong with by natural connectivity. I think that's a pretty good definition, because it doesn't get into any nuances that tend to separate. Because remember, we're functioning with the right brain now. That's our goal. White people watching the video, black people watching the video, whoever watching the video. We're trying to go right brain. So we don't want to start talking about particular nuances. What is the essence of a religion? It's to tie you back to something that you once originally belonged and have a constant connectivity to. I like that definition. In the meaning of the word itself, according to its components, religion was not thought to be opposed to reason or logic, which are the foundations of science and philosophy. I catch a lot of heat from a lot of my Christian brothers and sisters that feel to study and research and recognize flaws that may or may not be related to Christianity is an unchristian act. And I always point out, studies show thyself approve, thus and so forth. But I like that in here. I don't believe we were given science for no reason. I don't believe we were given philosophy for any reason. I don't think we were given logic for no reason. So something that goes against what is natural is generally a problem in my mind. So if it fits with nature, because we can't argue nature. Nature is it in and of itself. That is God's complete expression. We haven't made that happen. So if we can, the nature is actually the right brain of the body. Nature is the perfect movement and order of things, which is the right brain taking care of your body, making you breathe, heart beating, blood pumping, cells multiplying, food digesting. Same thing as nature. So if we can see things function as naturally as nature, there's probably a closeness to truth in that. Again, we just started chapter 2, or we're moving. This is about the last third of chapter 1. There's a lot in here. We're opening into the religion portion of chapter 1, coming up on chapter 2.